Hey, welcome back to the Travel Ones podcast. Today, my guest is recurring guest Brandon Hartt. How are you, buddy?
Good. Are you?
And I'm excited to talk to you again. I had you on a few months ago. Talked about the event that you had in Illinois.
hmm Yeah, the Patriot Fest.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
now, what are you doing next weekend?
man, we're playing the inaugural ball in D.C. for Oregon, the Republican presidential inaugural ball.
That's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
I
so
mean,
excited.
I still think like even no matter where you voted and this and that, it's still the inauguration of the president of the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Who you playing with? You got I saw it's Coffee Anderson and
Yeah, there's Coffee Anderson, Mark McKay, uh, and I've never played with Mark McKay. He's actually a friend of the friend of mine that's throwing the party, and then two good friends of mine, JJ Rupp and Matt Oakley, who are two artists, country soul artists that I've been working with for a while. So it's gonna be exciting, man. Got some of my brothers coming up in there.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna,
It's going to be a good time. You know, we've stayed in touch since we last interviewed, and you are a madman working on music, on new music,
nonstop.
nonstop, literally.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I've been grinding. It's so funny because I haven't put anything out of my own in a couple of years, and everybody's like, "Dude, what are you waiting on?" And so over the last year, I've really, I told you last time we talked, I've really been like trying to dial in what that is, what that sound is.
yeah.
Uh, it's kind of getting to that spot now where I figured out where I want to go, the songs I want to go with. We've already cut a couple videos, finishing up some more videos, and I'm finally at that spot where I'm ready to start dropping them out.
When do you think that'll happen?
I would say I should be able to put the first one out around somewhere in February. I would say the first February, March at the latest, but I would say February will be the first drop. And from there, I'll drop one or two, per 2 to 3 weeks. I'll drop one per like 2 weeks
I got you.
and then put the whole thing out. And then I'll drop another album. What I plan on doing is maybe taking one big album and splitting it up,
Okay.
dropping two smaller ones.
I mean, it's so weird to hear people, artists talk about that because that was never like that. Just
Yeah,
5 to 10 years ago. It's like you made an album, your management picked out a single off the album. That's it. That was released, and then
yeah,
released the album. Now you can drop 6 songs. You drop two, 3 songs.
absolutely.
Just different,
Absolutely.
it's a different world.
That seems to be it seems to work a lot better because I think two people's attention span is a little shorter now. So
Yeah,
it's hard to make it through a whole record for a lot of people. And so, kind of the plan for us is drop a couple singles and see what people like. And, from there, we'll put the album out and kind of push more concentration on what people are gravitating towards.
yeah. Is that where do you think that's all music or is that country specific?
It's all music, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I agree with you. I mean, it seems like it's. I've talked to some pop people, uh, and it's just the same way. You release a track here, a track there. If it gets a little bit of legs and maybe goes a little viral, you kind of run with it a little bit more, but
Absolutely.
keep moving on.
Yeah, it's hard to really know what's going to work. You really just, I've put the songs together that mean the most to me and they're the most important to me that, tell a story of where I'm at now or things that relate to where I'm at now. So, but it's hard to know as an artist, like what people are going to love. You kind of just got to, it's like fishing. You got to throw the line in the water and see what bites.
Some will go top lure, some will do some worms, some will do live, some will go, you know,
It's whatever works. And and there's no one way to do it. That's the hard part. You can't just look up how do I get famous and how do songs be hits. It's all a moment and a sound and a feeling and making that resonate with people. And that's I think the art in it really is making things connect and making them valuable for more reasons than just bumping on the radio.
well, is that why you like working on so many tracks and different beats? And I mean, it's not just your own music. I mean, you like helping others.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done a couple. I've got like a couple hundred things I'm either have worked on or am working on. So it's starting to stack up, which I love. I enjoy
Yeah.
different sounds and exploring things with different people. So It's it's always anything music for me is exciting.
Do you think I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know exactly the venue you're playing at, but in DC,
Mhm.
that's
Hamilton Live. Yeah.
gonna be
Yes, it
a
is.
rocking time.
That place has got some history, and you know the who's who has played there. It's got some amazing plaques on the walls of people that have played there. So it's also like an underground theater. So it's supposedly got a really good sound.
Oh, that'd be
It's
nice.
that from what I've heard, is one of the places you want to play as far as DC, and a really cool venue. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we're excited. We got a very big production coming, and we built so much for that night. And I'm also playing it's this a smaller show, but the All American Ball. I'm playing that the 18th. So
Okay.
basically be there the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. So I'll be going to the actual inauguration, and then the inaugural ball, the American Ball, and then the inaugural ball. So
Wow.
it's exciting. And then I got some merch, which I'm very excited about. I got three new shirts that I'm printing out that are specific to this time,
For the
and
inauguration and all that.
yeah. So I got like a 45/47 shirt, which is really cool. And then we have a Hamilton Live concert tee that we're printing for this concert and for the inaugural ball. So and we're still working out what, but we'll donate some proceeds on those. So
Yeah. Where can we get that stuff?
that will be available on my social media. I'll have a link up on my social media on Brandon Hart, B Hart Music, HARTT. Anything on my social media links should lead you back to that. If not, I would say Google Brandon Hart merch, and that'd be the way. And I'm actually in the middle of building a new site. I had a landing site, but I'm kind of at this point where I'm selling some teas, so
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bigger, you know, operational site built right now. So
I'm not
the
gonna
next,
say anything. We've known each other for a few months, right?
yeah, oh yeah,
So you know who I work for, right?
yes I do.
But and yet you wear that hat.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man. See, I didn't even bring it up, but
I was hoping you wouldn't see it. I was trying to keep it above the line. Now I didn't have time to slide down my cowboy hats in the truck, so I was like, man,
you need to get a Brandon Hart cowboy or ball cap going.
yeah, I got a couple. I got a few that we have. I don't have any up here, but
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
have.
hook you. I was gonna hook
have
you up with the Stetson ball cap that we collabed with Post.
yeah,
I'm not sending it to you now.
yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
No, no, you're not getting it.
I'll uh, let I'll let them know.
You ain't getting it. That's all good. You can show off Ariat all you want. The Ariat send you no boots, huh?
Hey, I do have those on. I'll shout out to those.
So,
No, I
what
appreciate it.
just at about you're an independent artist, right? I mean, it's kind of a fishy world of people out there, right?
It is. It is.
Like you, I'm always curious, like 'cause I don't get so much on the podcast. I get asked a lot. You
Mhm.
know, hey, let me do I'll handle your social media. Hey, let me do your website, or hey, let me do your video editing. And I get a
Yeah.
lot of requests like that. But I gotta imagine as an artist, it's like, I mean, you got PR people, you got agents, you got managers, you got booking agents, you got
It's like 10 different people per job.
yeah, and you're like, I just want to sing and make some music.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to be too simple. I do want to learn how to build a music
Right.
business and operate it, but it takes a village of people, and it takes a village of trustworthy people at that.
Yeah.
And that's what's hard to find is people who aren't kind of pushing money in their pockets out from under the desk. And so
Yeah.
uh, it is, man. It's tricky out here. I just got out of a deal. It wasn't necessarily a bad deal. It was just kind of my first deal, and it kind of came to a head at the point where me and this party both felt mutually like we'd done some great work, and it was time to see what's next. And so we respectfully parted ways, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the more independent side of things now. I'm partnered with some distribution companies and marketing companies, and so I may just remain independent as far as a label goes because I produce my own records. I mean, I'm sitting in my studio as we're talking to you. So, uh, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it is tough, man, because it's like a label can sign you and nothing can. It's very easy for them to just sign you and then own. Own, even if you're not making a lot of money, they own most of that, and then they don't really do much to grow that. There's a lot of labels out there they just kind of sign an artist, or like, we'll post some pictures for you,
Yeah.
we'll shout out to two or three friends, and then that's kind of where the relationship ends, and the artist ends up not owning their product, not really knowing what to do, where to go, or who to call. And luckily I got a great team of awesome people around me, and I've never been in a bad deal. My first deal, like I said, it was a great opportunity to learn what
Yeah.
music was about and touring and whatnot. And it kind of moved into this next season of me really needing a little more control and to be able to, step the game up. And so
Seems
that's
like
kind of where I'm at.
how many artists do you know that have stayed with the same team all the way through?
Not many. I mean,
Not
there,
many, right?
yeah, I mean, after an artist breaks, it's more, you know, I would say it's more common for an artist to stick after they break because they
Yeah.
kind of got this rolling machine. And most of the time, the bad people will weed out pretty quick in something like that because you see it a lot quicker. You find it a lot quicker. But uh, not many. I mean, not very many. I mean, maybe with managers, Michael Jackson. I don't know. There might.
Oh no, no, he switched.
Yeah, I'm not. I know there's people who had people for a while, but I think that's a healthy dynamic about being an artist and being in control too. Is like it just just because somebody's a manager doesn't mean like they're meant to be your manager. Just because they're your label doesn't mean that doesn't mean they're meant to be your label. And
Yeah.
it's cool to be able to, if you have the power to do so, to be able to try something out, move to something else, see what works.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly fortunate enough to be able to do that. I have a good team representing me. I have a good team representing me, and it makes it a lot easier for me to, you know.
To be a musician.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like people have asked me about the show, my podcast, and I'm like, no, I have to do the website. Like I had somebody set it up because the first one I did with my daughter, and I'm like, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So then I fired my daughter, and she was happy about it. Uh, but I hired somebody and I set it up. But I do all the updates and I do all the audio editing and I do the video editing, and it's like, oh man, I just want to talk to people. So it's kind of a balance, right? It's like you want to stay an artist, but
Yep.
you want to get some stuff done your way.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's kind of like it's a bit of a paradox because I'm like, man, I want it, now, and I want it like this. It's like, well, then do
Uh,
it yourself, so I've learned that, man. I started doing some of my own graphic design. I just got a drone and a camera, and I'm working on starting to shoot more of my content and stuff because it costs a lot to have somebody around you all the time shooting, anyways,
yeah.
and that's a lot of what because I'm not really a person to pull my phone out and be playing on social media and talking to
Anyway,
people. And
I just, dude, a guy reached out to me today on Instagram. He's like, hey, you need to put yourself out there and become your own, become the brand, and do more selfies and stuff. I'm like, I don't do that.
I'm just not built that way.
Yeah,
And that might be, one of my flaws if you look at it from the
I know.
bigger
That's what I'm thinking.
perspective. But I can't. It's hard for me to be myself and live life and still think, oh, let me pull out and get that on video. Let's do that one more time. Okay, this is like
Well,
it's
yeah,
that's you know.
I watch videos now, like we're watching like travel videos and this and that. And I'm like, hold on. So he's he's got one other person. They're together, so that means they had to stop, set up the camera on a tripod, come back, and then act like they're walking in for the first time and act
And
surprised.
probably did it 10 times to
Yeah, yeah.
get
And I'm like,
it.
and then they had to edit it,
Yeah.
and then they had to add the music, and then they had to add the little video graph. I'm like, I just want
That's
to
the
walk
whole
through a
thing,
door.
man. It's a whole thing. And
But
I'm
your
not
drone
saying,
shots are cool.
yeah, I'm not above it, but it's like
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot. It is a lot. And so, but I think too that is one of the disconnects with artists. And I'm learning that myself as an artist, is you have to do it. There's a bit of connection that the fans need,
yeah,
and it doesn't have to be you, but it needs to be somebody with a phone capturing the moments when you're not thinking about capturing moments, because
yeah.
that's when people are watching the most, and I'm learning that. I'm learning how to like really keep the camera rolling no matter what, and get the in-betweens and the laughs and the ha-has, and that's where some of the good stuff comes too. So
I've met a couple guys that are, I guess, they're influencers, and they walk around. They have people that are filming
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm this close to this close to getting me a guy, because I'm like, man, I can't do this phone thing every day.
them.
Gotta get me a flip phone. Have you seen those American? I forget the company, but it's like a all American phone. It's a phone carrier and a company here that like sell it's for Patriots. It's like the Patriot phone. It's like a satellite cell phone that's like
Okay.
off the grid,
Traceable.
off the
Yeah,
radar or whatever. And I was like, man, I'm so close to getting one.
yeah.
So
And yet you need to be more in touch with your fans.
yeah, it's hard, man.
It's a
It's hard.
quandary.
2 steps forward and three back, you know.
So I'm just gonna be curious to see what you do about that. You know,
See.
because
We'll see.
the thing I contemplated too was we're getting windy here. Um, if I record it all and then I could send it to somebody and let them edit it and do all that stuff with it. So that way I don't have to. I don't like looking at myself. I don't listen. I don't like listening to my episodes even after I record them. You know.
Imagine hearing your song about 10,000 times while you're working on it.
No, I do it. I'm going to be hearing your voice for an hour and a half, 2 hours straight.
You're probably gonna hate me here in about 2 hours.
I'm gonna have to start editing. But yeah, I mean, that's why I went out and spent the money on a nice board and a better mic, so I
Mhm.
don't have to spend as much time in the editing department.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
that's huge. I just did the same thing. I got the new Shure SM7 DB with the decibel, with the preamp on it. Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Well, that's
And
like, I mean, I always tell people my first mic on the show was my headphones,
hmm
my iPod phones,
yep.
you know, and I found out that because I never recorded myself, so I didn't know about editing, so I had it down here, and the mic's swinging down here. So I'd move around while I'm talking to people, and it would move, and all of a sudden I'd be,
Yeah.
so I ended up taping it to my face, so it would stay consistent, so I didn't have to do as
Yeah.
much editing. So
I love it.
gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta be creative, man. Gotta
Well,
be
and then I
creative.
got this thing from one of my past guests, and I was like, "Oh, this thing's awesome."
That is awesome.
Yeah,
It looks like a cool mic.
yeah, it's actually meant for podcasting.
Love it.
Shirtronics, they're out of England, and Steve Stevens, the guitarist from Billy Idol.
I've heard.
This, he uses these mics, and so when they came out with a podcast mic, he let me know. He sent me a thing on it. I was like, "Wait,
It's a beautiful thing.
yeah,
It-
that's all the stuff I never knew about." I mean, this, was it a dynamic mic? Because that's what I need. Because it's just coming off the front end.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't need
Because
this.
a lot of mics pick up the whole room, and so you're hearing like everything but the
Everything.
vocal. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm a prof. Hey, I became a professional artist. I released my. I don't know if you saw. I released my soundtrack,
I
the
didn't see that.
the theme song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you have to put it. It's one of those stupid things. You're like, hey, I want to use it on TikTok or I want to use my song on Instagram or whatever, but you have to list it. So I'm on TuneCore,
Yep.
right? So I'm like, okay, that's the only reason I put it out there so I could use it on my phone and all that.
Yep.
And I got like 1,200 downloads in the first month,
What? What?
and I realized what it's like to be a musical artist now because I made like $4.86, and I'm like, that's like 3.5 cents a
We're rich.
copy. Yeah. And then I'll have to split it 3 ways, so it's not bad.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I made like $1.50.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I think my first check from BMI was or it was Sound Exchange. It was for 3 years. It was $17.30.
Yeah. I'm not quite there yet.
I
I, I
was
haven't
like, man, I'm moving up.
I haven't pulled the account yet. I haven't deposited into my account yet.
I think I still have it. I was like, I might as well just save it in case I need
I
it.
know. It's like I'm going to use it to so I can it'll pay for my my TuneCore bill from next year.
There you go. There you go. Yep. No, I'm thankful. Like I said, I've actually been talking with the company Command Shift. They're great distributors, and I don't know that I'm building a deal with them, but I do have other songs that I am in deals with them, and
Yeah.
they're the best distributors I've used, and so shout out to them for sure. They're amazing.
Say yeah. On Spotify, it's like I think it's 3.5 cents a download.
Download, yeah. Yeah. Like per stream, it's like 0.0025.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like wow. It's
Someone's making.
laughable. It really is. It's laughable. But it's because so many people have found that like, hey, we can take advantage of people's intellectual property
Yeah,
all the way down to the 99.949 cent, and
yeah,
they won't say anything. And so now we're having to backtrack all that up, which means taking money out of people's pockets, which is like, I get it. I know Spotify doesn't want to budge. I heard they're in the middle of backing off on some more songwriter royalties
yeah.
that they're sitting on. It's crazy. I don't want to talk crap on anybody because
It is what it is, though, right? I mean,
I mean, it is. Yeah, it is. It's hard because obviously they have it made where they're the only outlet. Like you can't have a song out without being on Spotify. So, but I think the time is coming over the next couple years where we're going to get to finally see the songwriters get a little bit more power back in their hands, and they've been fighting on it. NSAI has been fighting it for years, and
yeah.
I'm sure there's other organizations, but they're one of the ones that have been up front, actually standing up and saying what a lot of songwriters were not being heard. We won't be heard.
Well, I mean, it's cool that they allow it, and so many more artists now can be heard because you don't have the guards at the labels saying, "Hey, pay
Yeah,
up." You know,
yeah,
you could make a song tonight and put it on your release and start making your big money, 2.5 cents worth. You know, but
the
you could
best.
literally put out music tonight. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to get the okay.
Oh, it's there's still a process you want to go through with the DSPs, which is like letting them do their due diligence for the
Yeah,
for
okay.
the so like most DSPs will tell you like
Yeah, no, what's a DSP? For
like Apple, Spotify, it's just a digital stream platform. But basically their request most of the time is to give them 30, 45 days just so they have an adequate time to like send, because there's a department for everything. So like the country department needs to get this, these curators need to get this, this person needs to be called about putting these banners here. And there's a whole process that goes there that if you just throw it out, they can't do that process. And it
right,
kind of skips them doing their job. So like even for artists who don't necessarily like have deals with them, that's what they ask, is to kind of give them some like time. And if they like it, I've seen things that don't have huge budgets that Apple, for instance, falls in love with. They'll throw it right up on their front page, their banners up. You open up Apple, there it is, a
yeah,
month before it comes out, pre-save. So other than that, I mean, ultimately, yeah, you can do whatever you want. But if you ask me on how to like make it work with the machine,
lost you at the end there.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
Cool. Yeah, but as far as doing it right, yeah, there's a little bit of a wait.
yeah. Obviously, I mean, as a legitimate musician versus me just being a hack, putting.
No, I wouldn't say that. For me, it's like a distribution company. That's what I
Yeah,
wouldn't put anything out without a company saying we want to distribute, and that's their first thing is like, all right, well, let us have it for 30 days. We're going to call Apple, call Spotify, call these companies, shout out for you on behalf of us, and that's where the love comes from. So I wouldn't pass that up for anything. I know a lot of
yeah, yeah.
people with music would, they're like, oh, I'll just put it out on CD Baby or TuneCore, which is like there's whatever DistroKid, whatever works. But for me, it's like I'm trying to do, music full time and actually put things on a shelf
Yeah,
in
you're
a
next
correct
level.
fashion. And yeah, so it makes sense to wait it out, plan it out.
It's it is interesting though that it's changed so much. And hopefully you guys, as a songwriter, you get more control. I mean, that's
I think so too, man. With social media gives us a lot of the control right now. And I don't think people realize I'm just now really starting to dig in, but I don't think a lot of people realize that social media is like the easiest free advertisement you could ever have.
huge.
And I know it's not totally free, and I know that because once you get to really trying to promote things, you realize, okay, they're going to hold back a certain extent until you pay. But to an extent of growing a business, so all you got to do is just be in there and be on it. And so I'm growing and getting better with that.
I'm curious because you brought it up earlier. The algorithm part's what kills me
Mhm.
because it's like someone in Google and YouTube and Meta and all. It's like there's a switch, and it's like because I had an episode with Tulsi Gabbard,
Yeah,
and the switch was turned off, and it
yeah,
was deemed a political speech, a political episode.
yeah,
So I had almost no views and no down. I'm like, what's going on? So
yeah.
I had to. It took weeks. I put it out, and all of a sudden, like I was getting nothing, and I'm
Well,
like,
see that
how's
wouldn't be a huge deal if that was happening both ways.
well, it would be, I guess,
Well,
because
I mean, it is, but it isn't. I'm just saying,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what I'm
I'm like,
saying?
so I had to appeal on all the different platforms because I'm like, she's not running for office. She's not in office. She's not a political, officer at all right now.
Why the throttle?
Well, and then your appeal has been reviewed and has been accepted. So we're going to open it up. 15,000 downloads later, I'm like, what? Whoa. So just like that, they have this little magic button somewhere.
That's the hard part is they serve as like this Watergate, this, you know what I'm saying? Like this,
Yeah,
they serve as a dam, and it's almost like it's a privilege for us to be able to go through there anyway, which is like,
exactly.
I think it seems like that's kind of the consensus with those companies, but what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, and then, I had one post I put up and the photo, which was a professional photo of a singer, a female singer, was deemed too sexually, and she was fully clothed in a dress. And I'm like, what?
I
And
can
then
go
I see other
find
things
five
online.
videos.
I see
Yeah,
other
go
things. I'm
ahead.
like, she ain't fully
Yeah,
correct.
yeah. I can find you 5 videos right now that'll make your jaw
Yeah.
hit the floor. Yeah.
I'm like, but mine got canceled? What? So I don't know. That's the part that I guess frustrates me because they make it sound like you have this freedom of to put things out, and you really don't.
You really don't. You really don't. That's where X has been,
The big yeah.
X has been a game changer, man. And I don't know about Elon yet. I don't, just jump right behind anybody until I, got a really good feeling from seeing the fruit. But
Yeah.
I think it is cool to have someone like that kind of attached and starting to, be a working part of at least a thought process for the government to try to do something different. That is exciting
You're
for
too young to remember. There was a guy named Ross Perot, and I think it was in 88 or 92. Maybe it was 92 that he ran for president.
me.
And
Hmm.
he was a nut job. I mean, kind of a nut job, but he was like a businessman, a billionaire and all that.
Yeah.
And he ran for president. And they're saying he's the reason why Bush beat out, I think it was Clinton when that happened. Or, I forget now. But he was the reason because he took enough votes away from kind of like what they were worried about with RFK Jr., you know?
Okay.
Um, and he has said the same thing. We need to run the government like it's a business because it's a business. Like we have income and we have outgo,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't run it
Mm-hmm.
like that now. Now you have
Yep.
departments that go, whoa, we've got a budget of $8 billion and we have to spend it all, or we're not going to get it next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
just
There's
spend it.
there's plenty of spending departments, but no managing the spending departments.
I, I'm like you. I go. I don't know about how I feel about RFK Jr., but if he does what he says he's going to do, I'm
And
game.
I'm for it. I'm for
If,
it.
if Cash Patel does what he says he's going to do,
For it. 100%.
so we'll see. It's going to be soon. You'll be at day one.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm gonna be on the lawn during the inauguration.
Crazy.
I'm excited because I've been up to DC, but I've never been in and around, the White House. So
On that day, come on.
mm-hmm. It's
I
gonna be
mean,
awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
just it's going to be what, 1 million people?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it said a million or more, a little bit over.
That's going to be nuts, dude.
Dude. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I
Hey,
know the show we're
hey,
playing.
bring out your phone and get some content.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely will. I know. Yeah, we got somebody that's gonna be there. I already called him
Okay.
up. Like, I'm gonna need you, buddy.
Just start filming. Don't stop.
Absolutely. I'm definitely excited though. I think it's gonna be a great opportunity, and I'm excited about the energy across the board. It just feels
Yeah.
like something good is, you know, starting to pull out of the darkness here.
Well, like I said, even if it was, I mean, I guess here we are, an idiot with another idiot talking about politics, but
For sure.
uh, it just seems like if it was like Marco Rubio or another politician, and he didn't have the Elon and Cash and all the other people, RFK,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of interesting to see the Dems kind of lose their stuff. It's like, well, you got Tulsi, who's a Dem,
Yep.
RFK Jr. is a Kennedy family member, who's a Dem his entire life.
Yep.
Vivette, I mean, you have Elon was a Democrat,
I started saying, yeah, he just switched. Yeah.
but it's not so much that he switched. It's hey, let's just come together and make it better.
What? Yeah. And that's what it needs. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously a two-party system's great, but when it comes to the point where we're at now, I think two-party needs to kind of be rethought here because there's so much
Big
division.
party. Yeah. And that's the one thing that Trump can say. He's bringing together some Dems, and
Absolutely.
you know, it's so weird that he's the centrist. It's like what? But it's all relative to what you compare it to, I guess. So
Absolutely.
it'll be fun. So what else do you have coming up for 2025, my friend?
Shows on shows. I'm still working on that. Where and how. I think the first couple things I do is with the Moonshine Bandits. I do the cruise. I'm planning doing the cruise with them in March. I think it's like March the 10th through like the 18th or something like that.
I mean, out of the Bahamas, that kind of cruise,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
hmm Yeah, so that and then a few shows with them. We have a song coming out here the next. I'm not sure when they're putting ours out. It's the title track on their album coming out right now. So it's a song I featured on with them called "The Light."
nice.
That'll be out soon, and then I'll start in March knocking that out with them, and then later in the summer I think I jump on a couple more of their shows. So it'd be a lot, kind of all over the board. It won't just be East Coast this year. It kind of be a lot more out here. So.
Yeah. Well, come down to LA, man.
Absolutely. I'll be down there. I do a lot. I come to Irvine every once in a while. So
What are you doing in Irvine?
a buddy of mine actually does some business there. So I got friends there and some in it's like 3 or 4 different spots up San Diego. Somebody's in Santa Rosa, since
Santa
where
Rosa. That's up
yeah.
north.
Yeah.
Dude, you come to Irvine, you let me know.
Yeah, I
You,
definitely will.
you
I know we'll be there once. Me and my lady will be there probably at least once a month for most of the springtime because she's got some work there too. So
you know who's headquartered in Irvine, don't you?
no,
Boot Barn.
oh, I did not know that.
It's their worldwide headquarters.
Got you. I will
Take you,
definitely.
I'll show you around.
Yep, that'd be fire.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
let you know. Absolutely, man.
It's just a big office building, but it's kind of cool to go in and see some of the stuff
Yeah,
they have on the wall.
yeah. Love it. I'm down. I'll definitely be down there. I can't wait. I love California, man.
Well, I went to Irvine High. That's where I graduated.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. There's some famous people that went to
Mhm.
university. I didn't go to Uni High, but University High in Irvine had Dita Von Teese, Rage Against the Machine,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Will Ferrell. I played football against Will Ferrell.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in high school.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
That's fire. Yeah, I'll let you know when we get down in that area, man.
yeah, hit me up. So you got the 20th, you're going to be busy.
Hmm.
And you got new music coming out a couple weeks after, hopefully a couple weeks after that.
Yes, yes, and I'll be able to update on that soon. I'm still in the finalizing stages of these songs, but
So
it is
you want people to follow you at Brandon Hart with two T's on
yeah,
Instagram.
B Heart. Yeah, just B Heart Music on Instagram. Is B Heart Music, HARTT Music. Just B, B. I think it's BHARTT Music on everything else. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Get some merch, get
To
some.
get everything switched to that because some of the other ones have been Brandon Hart, and so it's been a mix up. But I think we've got it, most of it right now.
But that's the other thing you got to think about too, though, right? I mean, it's interesting because you could be an artist named Tim Fox, and you're like, "Oh, I can't use that, because there might have been another Tim Fox.
Yep,
I'm sure there's a George Strait out there somewhere
absolutely,
that cannot use
absolutely.
it and spelled
Yeah,
differently, but he can't use
that's
it.
probably really good at music.
Really good.
No, that it was funny because one of my friends was on YouTube one night. He's like, "Man, did you know there's another Brandon Hart?" And I was like, "What?"
Excuse me?
And I saw it, and it was one T. I was like, "Oh, thank the Lord."
Yeah.
So totally fine. You know, nothing but love for the guy.
Oh yeah, it's not his fault.
Yeah,
He didn't name himself. Well, you
yeah,
hope maybe he copied you.
yeah. Well, I changed mine, so
Yeah.
it's my fault if anything.
See, you copied him.
Yeah, there we
All right,
go.
brother. Well, hey man, I appreciate the time. That's good. Is
Yeah.
is the DC and the ball going to be live streamed at all? Do you know?
We're there are two. We've got a TikTok live stream happening. I'll get the link for that.
Okay.
There's supposed to be an actual site though. It's supposed to be. I think it's on Joe Hoff on his site. So I'll shoot you over the. I don't know the details on all that yet. So I'll shoot you those over. And,
Yeah, if you can, because I'll put it on my website and I'll put it on my stuff too.
sweet.
Uh,
It's amazing, man. Well, I look forward to talking to you again, and I'll update you, send you some videos of the show.
I have to get you a new hat, but that's okay.
Send it on out, Bubba.
Got it.
We will talk soon because I'm going to order some stuff. So
Hey, hit me up, and then like I said, if you ever come down, hit me up.
absolutely.
Get lunch.
Sounds good, brother. I
All right, brother.
appreciate you. Stay safe out there, man.
Have fun. Be safe on the trip.